And for that director to take that information to the BC salmon farmers and warn them, but not to the minister.
If there's rot, don't we want to cut the rot out?
You were quite clear about the fact that DFO chooses scientific data that are the most convenient for DFO.
DFO appears to obfuscate and cherry-pick science and misdirect Canadians and news media away from inconvenient science and precautionary action.
The lack of honesty within that department has become so pervasive. I'm not sure they really even understand that the lights are on and we can see what is going on.
Just want to apologize for everybody. It turns out that Jay Parsons was my master's and PhD student when he was in university. So I'm afraid he's been corrupted.
What we see is relating to science and DFO and the aquaculture industry, not incompetence, not scientific illiteracy, but deliberate, dishonest efforts to block science, keep a minister in the dark, and advantage the industry.
I think that DFO has to have a watchdog at this point.
We learned that there is no policy pertaining to fish farms in British Columbia to implement the precautionary principle.
I've looked for the person in charge of wild salmon in DFO, and there is nobody, which is astonishing.
Your thoughts on how fish farms may or may not infringe upon Indigenous rights?
DFO minister and the Canadian government must understand the infringement of rights from the operation of open net cage fish farms extends across British Columbia.
We currently in British Columbia have the leading scientists on studying the health of wild salmon. The power of that science is unparalleled. The fish can actually speak to us. We are going to know a lot more about the state of health of these farms, but it took First Nations. DFO refused to allow this to happen.
Just the wrong place for a fish farm. I guess in British Columbia in regards to wild salmon, there is no right place.
Wild salmon must reach the open ocean, and salmon farms are a barrier to them.
All 7 nations that were consulted were opposed to fish farms being in operation. But since then, a couple have changed their opinion, and I'll leave that to you to surmise why that occurred.
I just want to make sure you know 36 salmon farms have been or will be removed by the Namgis, Kwasutanak, Mamalilakala, Gwawanak, Quaka, Clahus, and Homelco First Nations.